Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. What you just saw right there was pretty much the rundown of what would happen if the British leave the European Union, and the cause and effect that it'll put on America, which is known as Babylon through the scriptures. All right. So let me get a scripture to bring out for edification. Okay. And this is the book of Revelation, chapter, let me blow this up for you. Chapter 7, verse 17, verse 1, it says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show you unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." Okay, and who's that great whore? All right, that's America, Babylon. Okay, America. All right, we'll get back to this image later. With whom the kings of earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right, and it gives you a description you can read on. But I want to get to the point of where does Britain come in to all this. All right, it says right here, Revelation 17:12, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." All right, and if you know, I believe Apostle Tahar broke it down about 1,000 years is to a day to the Lord as a day is to 1,000, and it says 1 hour. So, you know, break that down to 24. 1,000 divided by 24, you get around 40 some odd years. All right. Now, why am I saying this? Well, right here in this news article, it says, what is the EU? Why was it created? And when was it formed? All right. If you go to Slovakia, let me get to the point. All right, it says Britain joins EEC. All right. Now, EEE stands for European Economic Community, and that was in 1973. So if you do the math, 2016 minus 1973, you get around 42, 43 years, I believe. All right. So right there, that is according to prophecy, and you're seeing all this now situation with the whole Britain wanting to leave Europe. So we're seeing right now the breakdown of the beast, which is NATO, as well as Slovakia, which is the NATO and the European Union. Okay. Now, if you read here, it says European Economic Community at last, but within a year calls for major reform common. All right. So there you go. So let's get back to the scripture again. It says, "And the 10 whores which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." All right. So if you look at this picture right here, it says the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. All right. And who runs NATO at the top? America. All right. So right now, what's happening here is that with Britain, the British wanting to leave wanting to leave European Union is going to send a whole bunch of problems to here in Babylon, America. So this is one article. It says Brexit could send shockwaves across the U.S. and global economy. So let me get down to the point of where it's talking about America in here. It says right here, I'm going to blow this up so you can read it. It says, "The concerns were echoed by policymakers around the world last week. The Bank of England calls the referendum the largest immediate risk facing UK financial markets and possibly also global financial markets." Okay. Finland's finance minister dubbed Brexit a Lehman Brothers moment. Now, if anybody knows about Lehman Brothers exacerbated AIG, which caused the financial problems in 2008, the housing bubble here in Babylon, America. Okay. Referring to the collapse of the U.S. investment bank during the depths of the financial crisis of 2008. And in Washington, Federal Reserve Board Chair Janet L. Yellen said the threat of the Brexit factored into its decision to remain cautious and keep its benchmark interest rate unchanged last week. See? So even the Federal Reserve, okay, let me blow this up. All right, even the Federal Reserve is being cautious because this Earth, the global economy, okay, all these nations are connected. So if one nation messes up, it affects everybody else, okay? Like what you saw over there in China, it affected the global economy, all right? So right here with this Brexit exit, Britain exiting the European Union, it's going to affect America. So let's get back to another scripture, okay? Says Revelation 17:13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, okay? So which is NATO, and America runs NATO, all right? Before that, let's get into a little history, because history is very important. What created the European Union, all right? This was in 1957, right here. It's the Treaty of Rome signed, okay, which was France, West Germany, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, which is 6 founding members of the European Union Economic Community, signed the Treaty of Rome. But Britain withdraws from early talks, right? Because Britain didn't come in until 1973. So right there, you had the European Union forming, which was the beast, okay? All right. And what's so important is that when you get into Revelation 13:3, it says, "And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." All right, because the Roman Empire came back into power starting in 1492, but it really manifested, it really showed its true power by when the European Union came together, okay? One common market, one political force, one military, okay? Because the military is very important. All the militaries are under NATO, all right? And that's 23, I believe. Actually, let me get to here, it actually will tell you. Right, it says the European Union has, these are 28 countries with the European Union, include Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria. So these 28 countries are part of the European Union and also with NATO. All right, except for America and Canada, but Canada's except for America and Canada are not with the European Union, but they're with NATO. All right. So there you go. Pretty much all together, all one military power. So let's get back to the scripture. It says, "And these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." And that's talking about the elect, the 144,000. All right, because NATO is going to try to make a war with Yahushua when he turns with the chariots, but it's going to become void because Most High is going to destroy these people. So I just want to get to another point. Let's just show that the whore is America. Revelation 17:15, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Okay? And this is the key point right here. Revelation 17:16. "And the 10 whores which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," which you're seeing right now. Okay? A lot of people, you go to Europe, they hate America. They hate Americans. That's why you have the government of America put out an order that when you go into the European countries, don't be so flamboyant about being American. "It shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with her fire." That's right, because eventually all these nations are from Europe are going to turn on America. And what you're seeing now, because here's the key point. It says, Brexit fallout, 7 ways the EU referendum could damage U.S. interests. From the economic, let me blow this up. From the economy to strategic alliances and the effects of resurgent nationalism, America has much to lose if Britain votes to leave the European Union. It says Barack Obama has been a key voice warning how leaving the European Union could impact Britain, but with opinion polling split ahead of Thursday's referendum, there are growing questions in the U.S. about what this seismic geopolitical event could mean for Americans too. Number 1, the economy. The International Monetary Fund estimate in a report published this weekend in Washington Washington that Brexit could knock up to a half a percentage point off the combined output of all advanced economies by 2019, including the U.S. All right. The IMF expects international trade and investment globally will shrink in response to the politically uncertainty of an exit, especially one that would throw Britain, a key U.S. trading partner, into a sharp recession. That's right, because America and Britain, Britain is America's number one trader. All right, in terms of export and import. Okay, besides China. So, and that right there will affect the markets heavily. All right. Says this is too financial markets. Turmoil in the bond market has already had a more direct impact on U.S. monetary policy after Janet Yellen warned that uncertainty over Brexit was a factor in the Federal Reserve decision not to raise interest rates this week. Traders on Wall Street expect volatility not seen since the financial crisis of 2007 if Britain actually votes in favor of leaving on Thursday, with many U.S. banks based in City of London on the front line. That's right. So because then now, if Britain decides to be their own entity, that means their own policies are going to be in favor towards what the British want, not what the European and America want. So that's going to affect America in a big way. Number 3, transatlantic alliance. The biggest concern in Washington is not just over the waning influence of its most important diplomatic ally within Europe, but the destabilizing effect an exit could have on the continent as a whole. If other member states follow suit, the EU itself could slowly unravel, leaving it vulnerable to growing Russian economic influence and perhaps weakening NATO too. The Western Alliance, constructed after the Second World War and a cornerstone of UN's influence in the world. See, that great whore? Let's go back to the scripture again. Okay? Says right here. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. All right. So there, right there. And this is talking about America's influence on NATO. All right. And they have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right. And we are anybody who knows anything about the military, all right, of NATO. America runs that shit. All right. All these other nations don't have no say whatsoever. Let's get back to the key point. Number 4, corporate investment. American multinationals like Ford and Goldman Sachs have been at the forefront of corporate calls for British voters to consider what leaving the world's largest trading bloc might mean for inward investments. The Detroit car giant exports engines from major plants in Bergen and Dagenham, but it is the intangible benefit of an overseas headquarters and banks that could be most consequential. Slovakia. Corporate America finds it easy to invest in the UK for many reasons, but language and culture may not be enough if British voters jeopardize London's role as the commercial capital of Europe. You see, no more making money, so it's all going to fall. It's going to come to naught. Anglo-Sapphic ideas. Supporters of Brexit often point to the historic ties between English-speaking nations as a reason not to fear being ostracized by Europe. But from an American perspective, it is far from clear what the benefit of this are. British influence at the European Commission has helped spread Anglo-Saxon legal traditions and free market principles well beyond the Anglosphere. English could well continue to be a working language in Brussels, but the idea and culture that suit U.S. global interests may no longer be quite so welcome. That's right. Changing languages, changing cultures to fit another superpower. So this affects America because America is the one that's keeping that power because it's the great whore. But the Lord is breaking, as you can see. Verse 6, currency fluctuations. The most noticeable short-term consequence of a Brexit would likely be a collapse in the value of the pound and possibly the euro too against more stable international currencies. How long it lasts depends on the significance, the wider trade and economic dislocation. But there is a little doubt that a strong dollar is the last thing U.S. exporters want right now. Already divergent interest rate cycles could grow worse and fuel demands for protectionism and currency wars around the world would more than offset any short-term bonus for American tourists heading to Wimbledon. So there you go. You can have currency wars. Political upheaval. Trade protectionism is only one area where U.S. domestic politics may be affected negatively by Brexit. The anti-immigration mood driven by Donald Trump will receive a major vindication of if Britain voted to leave the EU, possibly filling populist nationalists around the world with a sense that they are in the ascendant. UK Prime Minister David Cameron would also be forced to resign just as Barack Obama entered his lame duck phase, leaving Western democracy poorly equipped to respond. So then you're having political problems. So all this is would cause when the European, if the British leaves the European Union. So Lord willing, okay, he puts that prophecy into spirit. What we see, I believe, the way it's looking, the British are going to get out of the European Union. That's going to cause all turmoil, which we want if we want to get the hell out of Babylon, America. So with that, I hope this was edifying. Once again, as you can see, all these nations are turning their back on America. All right, so once again, Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Revelation 17 and 17. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. All right, and they did that. And right now it's time to close the chapter of this this movie that the Lord set up. All right, and bring in the kingdom of heaven, and that's what we want. So this is all beautiful that the British want to leave European Union, because this is prophecy being fulfilled. All right, and with that, we want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Death to America.